Well, there's been some worries that a new feature on Steam is actually going to cause some unintended side effects here, but I actually don't think that is going to happen here. I do see why people maybe are coming to this conclusion, but I really don't think that it is going to happen. If you think about a few things, consider a few things. So just a few days ago, this happened. There was a Steam update to their user review scores that are based on language. It says the review score for some games is now language specific. So basically they added this filter where you can make it so that you can only see reviews in your language, or that you can see overall reviews regardless of language. I believe by default you are only seeing reviews based on your language. So like I am only seeing reviews that are in English right now. I'm not seeing reviews that are in any other language, even if it was translated. And it is interesting because you can see that maybe for your specific language the average rating is let's say like mixed, whereas the overall average rating is maybe more positive or more negative. Well, you see, this has caused some to think that maybe this could cause some problems for maybe languages or groups of people who review more negatively. Now, this I saw came from Automaton, and the worry is among Japanese players. Apparently, they review more negatively on average compared to other language, and it says gamers fear this might affect Japanese language support for future releases of games. So I believe this whole idea came from this Japanese streamer. They made a post on X basically saying that they noticed that for almost every game, the reviews from Japan were basically more negative compared to the overall reviews, and that I guess this average is not really influenced by like some really overwhelmingly harsh reviews, but rather a lack of positive reviews. I don't really know why that would be the case, but apparently that is the case for Japanese players. So they go on to say that Steam's review ratings often impact game sales, and because of Japan's harsh reviews, some developers apparently avoid Japanese localization during early access or initial release to avoid getting reviewed at that stage. So basically they say that, this kind of shows the value in leaving a positive review if you do enjoy the game. What's important to note here is that it doesn't look like they actually specifically referenced this whole new Steam policy, even though this post was made, I believe, like right when this policy was implemented. But really, with this post plus the new policy, this kind of did gain some attention, and it drew some kind of conversation here on if this would actually happen. Would games not want to support the Japanese language now that they would maybe now have a clearer picture that Japanese players don't leave as positive of reviews? And it does look like the statistics, according to Automaton, do show that this is on average the case. I guess the average reviews that Japanese players leave are a little bit more on the negative side compared to the overall ratings. Why this is, I really don't know, but will this actually affect game language support for Japanese players? I really don't think this is the case. One reason being that I'm sure developers and publishers have had access to this data for quite some time now. I'm sure it probably didn't just come down to a recent Steam filter that made the whole world kind of have access to this info. No, I'm sure if people wanted to know this info, I'm sure the stats were out there already. I mean, in fact, I even just showed you the stats from Automaton. Those were from like 4 or 5 years ago. But the other thing too is that I actually think this new feature from Steam that lets you filter by language, I think that would actually help things out rather than hurt it. Because theoretically, if you do have one language that is going to review your game more negatively, well, that's going to be consistent with your game and the next person's game and really every game out there. It's not like your game is going to be reviewed on average any more negatively than any other game that has Japanese language support. So I don't think there is really much to worry about here. It is kind of interesting though that this new filter feature has kind of drawn up some conversation here on if this could prove to have some negative unintended consequences, but I really don't think that will be the case.